Well, good morning. Welcome to a new work week. And I trust yesterday in your church was an amazing experience of worship and learning about our great Savior. I hope that you were able to make some decisions, either to stop something or to start something or to continue in something, but that God communicated to you in a powerful way. And we're so thankful for His grace. Wow, if I sound a little nasally, it's because I just had a sneezing fit and still trying to get over it. We're going to finish up Matthew chapter 17 this morning. And this is a great story. And entitled this one, Learning to Defer. You know, not every battle's worth fighting, not everything is a big deal. There are times when we can just defer. We don't have to make it more than it is. And sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's just not the right time to deal with something. And so Jesus teaches us that as he is working with Peter regarding the temple tax. This is a passage that is uniquely different from when Jesus is talking about paying to Caesar that which is Caesar's, paying to God that which is God's. That was talking about Rome. This is talking about the temple tax, and this was for every Jewish male over the age of 19. They would have to pay a temple tax, and they had to go to the temple, and so this was a requirement. And from my study years ago, I think that basically that it was a unique tax in that it was like a half a shekel, which they really didn't have a coin for. And so many times two people would go together and make a shekel, and they would pay it together. And I think that's what's going on here with Jesus. And so when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, Doth not your master pay tribute? And he said, Yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers? Peter saith unto him, Of strangers. Jesus said unto him, Then are the children free? Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea and cast a hook and take up the fish that cometh up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That take and give unto them for me and thee. And Jesus is basically making the point. The temple is God's house. God's son is not going to be charged. The father doesn't charge his children. That's not the way that it works. However, those that are served, those that get to participate, are charged, and so Jesus makes the case. I shouldn't pay. This is my Father's house. I and my Father are one. And so he's making the case that he doesn't need to pay. But he makes also the principle of deference. In other words, there are times to just defer. And so he says to Peter, you know what? So that we don't offend them, I want you to go to the sea. I want you to catch a fish, and in the fish is going to be enough to pay for me and you. And so take that coin and go ahead and pay the temple tax. Some people, I'm going to fight this out of principle. It's about principle. I am not going to bend one iota. And there are times that we shouldn't bend. There are times that we should stand clearly. But Jesus also teaches us that there are times that it's not worth it. The right approach is to simply defer, simply to do it, and to not offend, not create a problem. Now, Jesus is going to make a big case when the money exchangers are in the temple making a profit on people by scamming them. He is going to cast them out. He's going to make a big deal. This is my Father's house. It is not going to be a den of thieves. And even though there was an element of abuse that took place with even the temple tax, people understood that the temple was a big place and it cost a lot of money to maintain. There was a lot of things that were going on, and if they were going to participate in worship, they had to own a part. There was no doubt that in any time you have money being exchanged, someone will figure out a way to take advantage of it. And there was probably no doubt that there was plenty of that going on. However, Jesus also makes the point that at this point, it wasn't worth addressing. And so he said to Peter, go catch a fish. Now, why did he not just give Peter a coin? Why did he not just, provide something? Why did he make him go catch a fish? I'm not really sure. I don't know that the text gives us any indication as to why, other than the fact that I think Jesus was proving to Peter, money will never be an issue for me. I am not bound by expense. I'm not bound by not having money. I can produce that anywhere, anytime, in any amount. And so I think Jesus is reminding us that he will supply our needs according to his riches in glory. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. We have to be patient to let God pay the bills in his time and in his way. We get into trouble when we want God to pay for things in our time, in our way. And so we have to discipline our want bug and our timetable to match God's, that's for sure. But here, I think he's just reminding us that there are some battles that are not worth fighting right now. There are some things that are just not worth addressing at that moment. And that the right approach, just to keep peace and to keep from offending, is to go ahead and defer. It doesn't mean you're always going to. It doesn't mean that you have to. It just simply means in wisdom, right now is the time to defer. So I would challenge you. Are you facing a situation right now that you're making it bigger than it needs to be? That you are allowing yourself to become personally involved at a level you shouldn't? Are you taking offense to somebody else's decisions where God may be just telling you, you know what, as for right now, it's better to not offend. It's just better to defer. Sometimes we get so competitive that we think if we give an inch or we go along at all, that we're just compromising, that we're letting them win, and we're not going to let them win, and it becomes personal. And God reminds us here that, you know what, the cause of Christ and the name of Christ and our testimony sometimes requires that we just defer until the right moment to address a situation. And here, I think, is the perfect example where Jesus says, I shouldn't pay this. I don't have to pay this. But I'm going to tell you, just to keep from offending people, here you are, Peter. Go get the coin. Go pay for you and me. We'll defer at this moment. God may be asking me, he may be asking you in some area to simply defer for a time. We have to know the mind of God. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to a great week together. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless.